Yeah, so I guess my next one is this is the big one. This is the one I've been saving, and I can't hold it anymore. I gotta talk about it now, and that
Do
is,
it.
of
Go, bro.
course, the magnum opus of 2025, in my opinion, Claire Obscure Expedition 33.
I've been
This
trying.
game.
I've been trying to avoid saying it since I know it's your game of the year. But yeah,
Well, I haven't played it yet, so you two can chat about it
yeah,
now.
Yeah, we did an episode of it too,
yeah.
so I won't like go into like a massive amount of like depth about it.
Hmm.
Yeah, so overall, like I am a unapologetic, self-proclaimed Expedition 33 glazer. I am the one that will just like praise this game to high heaven. I really think this game is something special. I consider this to be a genuine work of art, and usually when I try not to overhype games too much to people when I recommend them, but this is a game where I can't help
Yeah.
but do it because it really impacted me on a personal level. It covers like the theme of grief and how we cope with loss and trying to it has like a I can't go into too many details to avoid I don't want to spoil anything, but like about coping with grief, that's all I can really say.
Hmm.
And it's a very powerful narrative. It's very very dark, very emotional, definitely got me choked up a couple times. uh, there's has some very very fascinating revelations. There's one revelation near the end of the game that apparently is kind of controversial. I guess I can see why. I don't really agree with kind of the negative reactions to it.
Oh,
But
you mean Act Two to Act Three?
yeah. That one seems to be a bit controversial. I can kind of see it, but I don't really agree with the sentiment of the people who are
Hmm.
kind of come down on it. It's not that I don't understand where they're coming from, but I just don't really like necessarily agree
Hmm.
with that like mindset. But it's okay. But whatever. So overall, and mostly good characters.
I
They're
will.
not.
Yeah,
It's
I say like, well, at Act One, I feel like all the characters are very fascinating when they're introduced. As it feels like each character have their own purpose, maybe arcs to deal with later on in the game. That's what you expect. But then in Act Two and Act Three, it does feel, and it eventually goes into the Mayao and Verso route,
Yeah,
where it's
it
mostly
basically
about
becomes
them.
about them completely, and then kind of the other
Yeah,
characters. They're kind of like tagging along, and they're still really good. Like I still
yeah,
like the rest of the characters, but they do become supporting characters in Versa and Miles 3, really.
yeah,
Which is, that's their that was the choice that the writers made, and
yeah.
that's fine though. But the other characters are very interesting to talk to because you do got that like kind of Diet Coke social link system where you talk to them at your campsite and kind of learn a little bit more about them. There's some optional scenes,
Mm.
and those are cool, and they got some good backstories. And I especially love Lune. Lune to me is best girl, hands down. So I always made her my avatar on the field because
Mm.
she's the only one when you sprint she actually like levitates, which I always thought was super cool. So I always made her my avatar because none of the
Mm.
other characters do that. I don't want to spoil anything in this game. Like this is a game you got to play blind. Like this is a game you like don't even watch trailers for. You
Mm.
got to go in totally blind for this.
I
And
feel like this game does a
I,
really good job of hooking you with its overall setting,
yeah, the
especially.
world is so unique.
Mhm.
Like Lumiere is such a fascinating world that I was like dying to explore it and learn about the mystery of it. And the intro, the opening, like the opening's cinematic is just like incredible. And
Yeah,
that's
like
when you get to the
I said this before, but opening cinematic with the painter like invokes the same sort of significance as I think Yuna's uh, sending cutscene in Final Fantasy X.
oh
It's that
yeah,
impactful, I think.
it gives that same haunting
Yeah,
melancholic kind of feel to it.
yeah.
And yeah, it's definitely like a good comparison. The cinematography and the music
Hmm.
and it's unbelievable. Since we were talking about voice acting before, like this game, oh my god, this cast is like legendary. You got Charlie Cox, you got fucking Andy Serkis plays the villain. Like, oh my god, his voice is so fucking intimidating, and shit's going down when he's on screen, and it's just unbelievable. And you got Jennifer English, she was a Shadowheart in Baldur's Gate 3. You just got fantastic voice
You know what's
actors.
really funny, Daniel? You know, you were talking about how your friend did like Shadowheart anymore because her hair changed. The character Jennifer English voice in this game also changes their hair color
As a hair change.
So that's
Oh yeah, and Ben Starr, Clive Rossfield, he's in this game too, and yeah.
You know he's in Tactics in the Tactics remaster as well.
Is he?
He's Dice
I
Dark.
didn't catch that.
He's Dice Dark.
Oh yeah, that's okay. I can hear it now in my head.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, that's great. The soundtrack is legendary. Whether it be the title screen, the opening, all the battle track, it's just like the soundtrack is perfect from top to bottom, and the combat is a lot of fun. It's got like it's got that real time element. I think like this isn't the first game that's ever incorporated real time elements into a turn based combat system, but I do think they kind of take it to the extra level because there's not just like it's not like just like a Legend of Dragoon or Judgment Ring where you just for attacking. You also can dodge and parry.
I will say a lot of the real-time aspect of the combat system is developed into the defensive systems.
Yeah. Like exactly.
Like a lot of focus was done on the parrying and dodging system in the game, to the point where if you took away the defensive aspect of the game, I would feel like the combat system would feel very, very straightforward and probably not that fun to play out through.
It's pretty simple. What I think makes the combat work, get it, like even just looking past the real time elements, is that even though the actual mechanics are pretty like very simple, what I think makes it work is how the characters all play completely differently, and how they each have their own gimmick. Like how Mayel has her different battle stances. And you can change from offensive to defensive or virtuo stance. Yeah. And ideally, you want to be in virtuo stance because that she has like I think like a 200% increase in damage, and you can change her like certain actions will change her stance. Like Lune, she has her elemental stain. She's your black mage, fire, ice, and I also really like the AP system because the game doesn't use magic points, and you generate AP from, it could be attacking, you generate AP from starting your turn, from parrying, and all your actions will cost different amounts of AP, and there's different ways to increase it too. You could even get passive skills too. It's like, increase AP upon dodging, increase AP upon get an extra ability action point from attacking, whatever.
And there's various Luminas who where you can get AP for doing certain stat effects, like burn. Every time you get a flick of burn, you get an AP point back, and then stuff like that.
Exactly, yeah. Like you can get all these passive abilities to manipulate the AP meter into your favor. So you'll always have an AP that you need. Because in the early goings of the game, you're at the mercy of the AP system because you don't have those passive abilities. So you're kind of rely on what you're given. But it is fun to like make these different builds and mix and match. And that leads to the
I will say like what makes the defensive system work in Expedition 33 is that a lot of work got put into it, and with regards to enemies having different timings to them. You having to study each enemy's attack patterns. You figure out how to parry this type, or looking at visual tells or sound tells. So like learning the parrying time in Expedition 33 can be very fun and satisfying. And is one reason why Expedition 33 is as fun as it is in regards to it expecting you to utilize its defensive mechanics. With the reward you get through parrying being immense, with you gaining AP back every time you parry, as well as you getting a very strong counterattack if you parry all of the enemies. So like there is very great incentive to parrying in this game, which does make it a lot of fun to play around with you constantly learning the best way to parry a specific enemy as you go through the dungeons. At least that's what I think.
Yeah, exactly. And the Picto system is good too. It's basically they're basically like accessories that give you a buff or some kind of perk, and you can. It's kind of like Final Fantasy IX, where you equip them and then you can master them and then learn the skill without having to have it equipped. I would say
like the Lumina or Picto system can get very overpowered when you let it in the third act.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. which is like pretty satisfying though, because by the time I got to the end of the game, I was like especially Mael, like she was doing like 5 million damage.
Yeah, there is a negative side to that, because being overpowered to the point where you can one-shot enemies does make the game more not as fun, due to you not even having to deal with the defensive mechanics in the game. It got to the point it got to the point where I would sometimes just redo the Simon fight just because I actually wanted to learn his parry timings, but I just killed him too fast with Mael and the other characters Lumina setup, that I didn't feel like I actually learned the fight. So I would redo the fight. But yeah.
You can get overpowered pretty easily in this game. I think that's kind of like, that is a bit of an issue. Like there's a balancing issue there. It's a little too easy to become overpowered. And
it's not like it's not like you need a specific setup. I think you can just read these setups, what these Luminas do, and think logically of what's the best way to use them, and then you can get very overpowered pretty easily. It's not that there is like a one-shot build. It's not like everything. Like you can get overpowered really easily just from normally experimenting with Luminas, which can be a detriment in the end game, especially for the actual final boss, where I didn't do much of the side content when I fought the final boss. I just did the character side missions, but even then I just blitzed through the final boss.
Yes, I beat the final boss in one hit. I'm not even kidding.
But overall, I do think the combat system is very engaging through Act 1 and Act 2, when you don't have that power spike. Because it is really fun learning the different dodge and parry timings for each enemy type that you are going to encounter. It is very interesting to think of what combination of Luminas you want to bring to the table, just because you don't have that much Luminas to experiment with at the Act 1 and Act 2.
The game, something that we haven't had in RPGs in quite a long time, honestly, is overworld map. Like this is an honest to god old school Final Fantasy 1 through 9 world map. And
now I'm not one of the people who are really that gung ho about overworld maps. They're whatever to me most of the time, But I do think how
I was about to say
how Expedition 33 handles this overworld map is really cool, because there's a lot of interesting optional areas that you can go through. That's not the intended path.
Yeah, and that's something I've always taken issue with overworld maps is most of the time they're just kind of window dressing to give you a sense of scale, and in general, in these old school RPGs, the world map doesn't really become fully explorable until right before the final dungeon. Look at Final Fantasy VII, where it's there's some optional things to do, but for the most part, all the optional content is backloaded to disc 3. Whereas in Expedition 33, you can't go literally anywhere you want, because you are limited by travel options. It's not really until Act 3 when your mount can actually fly, where you can go literally wherever you want. But throughout the course of the game, you actually can explore, and you'll find dungeons, full-on handcrafted gigantic dungeons with hidden bosses that you never once go to in the story. And I'll find them by total accident, and it adds to it makes this game rewards curiosity. It got to a point where I'm not even interested, or not that I'm not interested, but I don't even want to progress the story, because I'm going around the world map finding all these goodies. I'm finding dungeons, I'm finding hidden bosses, I'm finding hidden equipment. There's so much to find, and I honestly love the overworld map in this game. This game makes me, if traditional overworld maps were like this, I would love them, because I'm pretty indifferent towards them too, but here I really enjoyed it because it makes exploration actually worthwhile. So that's good stuff too. And I think really the only thing I kind of take genuine issue with in this game is Act 3 in terms of structure, because Sandfall has made it they've been very open that this game is like kind of like an homage to various old school RPGs, which I think, and that's great.
And Act 3 is essentially Disc 3 of Final Fantasy 7 with how it's structured.
Right. I feel it was like an artistic choice on the part of the developers. Like that was like an homage to Final Fantasy 7, but like Disc 3 Final Fantasy 7 or World of Ruin and Final Fantasy 6. But the reason I think it's more egregious here is because I feel like it's actually detrimental to the story, because there are plot threads that are left unresolved that you only do in side quests. Like, for example, like a major character is Alicia. She's like a recurring character that you see throughout the course of the game. Her character arc is resolved in Mael's character quest. Like, her character she's completely sidelined, and if you don't do Mael's character quest, you will not see the end of that story. There's also a side quest that explains where the monsters called Nevrons, where they come from. That's a side quest in Act 3. Like, you can miss that. You don't have to do that. And I think that, like I said, I have no evidence to support this, but I theorize that Act 3 was made this way on purpose as, like, again, like I said, an homage to, like, Final Fantasy 7 or something. And if that was indeed the case, I felt it was detrimental to the story, because I don't like that these major plot beats, whether it be resolutions to certain side characters, or like even like I said, the revelation of where the Nevrons came from, all that being side content to me was like detrimental. I didn't think I didn't agree with that decision. So that's just a personal thing, but I wasn't really a fan of that. I thought it hurt the story overall. But other than that, yeah, this game is one of the best games I've played in the last like 20 years, and I could not recommend it enough.
I probably wouldn't go that far for me personally, but I do think out of all the new games that come out, it probably is the best game to have come out this year.
Yeah, this is definitely my game of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is, as far as RPGs go, like this is on par with like Metaphor from last year.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is about like as good as that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I've only ever heard like unanimous praise for it, so I believe you when you keep all of this like glowing praise.
Yeah, like I said, I tried not to hype games too much, but it's some of them I can't help but do it. So yeah, that is my Expedition 33 glaze right there. So
Gotcha.
Okay. Hopefully by the time this get released, the Expedition 33 video will get released. Well, we shall see. Because we talked a lot about Expedition 33 in that dedicated video, so yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.